Have you ever wished you could freeze time? Just hold on to one perfect day and never let it slip away? What if I told you that one summer day in Los Angeles, a baseball stadium became the stage for a memory that millions will carry in their hearts forever? I'm talking about the day BTS's Kim Taehyung spent a full day at Dodger Stadium, and the world stopped just to watch him. Before we dive into this story, I have just one favor to ask. If you believe in moments that change us, in days that feel like magic, then subscribe right now, because this story isn't just about V. It's about all of us. Morning whispers. The city of Los Angeles woke up differently that day. ARMY had been buzzing online for weeks. Rumors of Taehyung at Dodger Stadium had spread, and by morning, it was no longer a rumor. It was happening. Fans lined up outside hours before the gates opened, the California sun not even at its peak yet, but hearts already racing like thunder. People carried banners, light sticks, even Dodgers jerseys with V and 95 printed proudly on the back. Some were trembling with excitement, others clutching their phones, refreshing Twitter to catch every tiny update. And somewhere, just beyond the walls of the stadium, Taehyung himself was preparing for a day that would go down in history. The arrival. Imagine the moment the black car pulled up outside the stadium. A quiet buzz rippled through the fans who caught the first glimpse. Phones went up instantly. The whispers grew into cheers. "He's here. Oh my God, he's really here." Taehyung stepped out, dressed effortlessly in casual elegance. Dodger's cap tilted low, a simple shirt, but somehow he glowed like the sun itself had decided to follow him. For a second he looked around, almost shy, almost nervous. And then he smiled. Just a small curve of his lips. But that was enough. The entire crowd melted. That smile was the promise of the day ahead. Inside the stadium, walking through the tunnels of Dodger Stadium, Taehyung wasn't just an idol anymore. He was a guest of honor, a bridge between two worlds, K-pop and Major League Baseball. Players greeted him warmly. Staff members smiled in awe, some whispering, "That's BTS V," under their breath, as if even saying his name felt surreal. And Taehyung. He bowed politely, greeting everyone with that gentle charm that has made millions fall in love with him. He laughed when a player jokingly asked if he was ready to join the team. He took photos, shook hands, and yet through it all, he carried himself with the same grace that makes him feel less like a superstar and more like an old friend. The practice pitch. Before the game began, Taehyung had a quiet moment on the field. The grass glistened under the sunlight, the mound waiting for him. A Dodgers coach handed him a baseball. He turned it over in his hands, feeling the stitches, the weight. For a moment, his eyes lingered on the empty stands, as though imagining them full. You could almost hear his thoughts. What if I mess up? What if I let them down? But then he closed his eyes, drew in a breath and smiled. Because Taehyung has always known something we sometimes forget. Moments aren't about perfection. They're about courage. The build-up. The hours passed quickly. The stadium filled with fans. Not just Dodgers faithful but ARMY waving purple banners, singing BTS songs softly between innings. Felt less like a baseball game and more like a festival. Everywhere you looked there were signs. "We purple UV. Dodgers x BTS equals history. Taehyung, you're our MVP." The atmosphere was electric. The countdown to the first pitch was no longer just about baseball. It was about unity, about culture, about the moment when two worlds would collide in the most beautiful way. The first pitch. And then it was time. The announcer's voice thundered through the speakers. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from BTS, Kim Taehyung." The crowd roared. It wasn't just sound, it was an earthquake of love. Taehyung walked out, jersey on, cap low, a baseball in his hand. For a moment he paused, looking up into the sea of faces. The noise swelled, but in his eyes you could see it. Nerves mixing with joy, fear mixing with pride. He lifted his arm. The stadium hushed. The ball flew up. The catcher's mitt snapped shut. Clean, smooth, perfect. The stadium erupted. Screams, chants, tears. Taehyung bowed, laughed, and waved, his boxy smile lighting up the night like fireworks. It wasn't just a pitch. It was a memory carved into history. The game. But the day wasn't over. Taehyung stayed, watching the game, cheering quietly, clapping with the crowd. Cameras caught him laughing, sipping a drink, leaning back in his seat as though he were just another fan enjoying baseball on a summer night. And yet, to everyone watching, he was so much more. He was living proof that music and sports, East and West, could come together in a way that felt effortless, natural, and deeply human. The aftermath. By the time the game ended, the internet had already exploded. Hashtags like #TaehyungDodgers, #VFirstPitch, and #HistoryMade were trending worldwide. News outlets ran headlines. Fans posted fan cams that went viral within minutes. But beyond the headlines, what lingered was something quieter, something deeper. Because that day wasn't just about celebrity. It was about connection. A boy from Daegu, South Korea, who once doubted if he'd ever be seen, now embraced by thousands in one of America's most iconic stadiums. Reflection. So why does this day matter? Because we all have a Dodger Stadium moment waiting for us. A moment when the world is watching, when our fears rise but our courage rises higher. Taehyung's day at Dodger Stadium wasn't just his victory. It was a reminder that dreams cross oceans, languages, and boundaries. And maybe, just maybe, your dream is closer than you think. A motivational goodbye. So I'll ask you this. What's your first pitch? It doesn't have to be on a baseball field. Maybe it's starting a new job. Maybe it's confessing your love. Maybe it's standing on a stage for the very first time. Whatever it is, step up, breathe, and throw it with all your heart. Because history isn't about perfection. It's about courage. And Taehyung's full day at Dodger Stadium reminded us that the bravest moments are the ones that live forever. So if this story touched you, subscribe now, because together we're not just watching history, we're living it.